when you look at it carefully, when you really examine the situation, you'll see that the only thing the paranormal has is tricking people in a negative. And how do you trick people in a negative? By trapping them in patterns and cycles. Evil only has patterns and cycles. Let me say it like this. Evil is nothing more than being stuck in patterns and cycles. That's all evil is. People tend to mystify evil as if evil is this dark substance, so powerful. No, it's not. It's, for example, let's say you have a lump of clay. That's high quality clay. And you have this very tiny lump that fell off of it. And that tiny lump becomes grayish, dark. It doesn't have much water in it. Now let's now pretend as if people begin to perceive that broken piece of lump has become a waste. Let's say people perceive the waste as the good quality and that big, boring lump as the bad quality. Now that's what happens when you agree with the world. You begin to process things backwards. You're stuck in patterns and cycles. So in this video, I'm talking about recognizing, that means seeing through patterns of violence and erasing them. How do you erase them? Simply said, you see through the BS. You see through the deception. And once you see through the deception, you agree with Christ against the deception. Because by agreeing with Christ, you already agreed against the deception, because the deception is antichrist. Now, okay, it works like this, collectively. Because as an individual, you're part of the collective. So, it goes like this. You have a bunch of folks, which are pagans, and they want to benefit of human energy. In a sense that they want an easy existence without any challenges. So those pagans realize that they won't get this just like that. And most likely people won't cooperate with them. So those pagans come together, they agree to worship. That means giving veneration and words to Satan and those other unclean spirits. But in exchange, he needs to help those unclean spirits, because those unclean spirits are parasites. He needs negative energy. So those pagans then realize, you know what? We need to keep our fellow human beings in the negative. We need to trick them. And the pagans have knowledge that they received from the demons, in which the demons told them, listen, men are the ones leading the human population, because it's the male energy that keeps human population going. So in order to trick your fellow human beings in a negative, you need to trick the men in the negative. And the best way to do this is to use females, because men tend to be vulnerable towards females, and that's how it's designed. There's nothing wrong with that. So use the females to trick the men in the negative. And once the men are in the negative, they'll keep each other in bondage, and the females who want to have a man, who want the approval of men and of their fellow females, they will go along with the pattern, and now they're messed up also. And that's how it will go from generation to generation. So your descendants, who are pagans like you, will just have to continue the pattern. The unclean spirits teaching them this. So what will those pagan rulers do? They form a gang. They already are a gang, but they form a gang. They agree together. Then they go and look for people that are disadvantaged by the community. And they tell those people, you know what? If you join us, you'll get a beautiful house. You'll get some friends. You will have a lot of parties. There'll be some hot chicks over there. So when you join us, dude, things will be fine. Just cooperate with us. You don't have to get really involved with us with what we're doing. Just help us out. And you will have men who have a lower self-esteem in the community that will fall for this. And those men now form small militias, and they, on assignment of the pagan rulers, will rob stores. They will kidnap people, not to kill them, just to scare people. Or, as they did in colonial times, they will be employed on ships to sail around the world and scare people. That's what colonial piracy was all about. That's what Dutch piracy was kind of all about also. But I'll talk more about Dutch colonial history and shadow government in another video. because I need to cover the subject separately. So those militias, those desperate men will do that. But now what happens now is that the population is in fear because stores are being robbed. There are people being kidnapped. So people are now frightened. They don't know what's going on, so they want answers. So because they're now in a low frequency of fear, they're now stuck in low energy, they're static, they can't think straight, they can't feel well. So then the pagan rulers hire one of their hitmen who dresses himself as a politician. He may not be a real politician to begin with, he's just a hitman. But instead of picking up a gun and shooting people on command, he kills people by bringing in bad policies. So now you have this hitman who comes in the clothes of a politician, and he will tell the population, you know what, there's a lot of criminality, a lot of girls are being kidnapped. You know what? It is because there isn't much law and order in this country. We need more order. And what will happen? The population will think, you know what? We need more order. We don't want this to happen. So, consequently, people will agree with what that politician is saying. We need more law and order. We need more because the population wants security. Human beings crave for security. That's a natural need. What happens is the pagan rulers of this world, they abuse this need for security to trap people in patterns and cycles, which is counterfeit security. It does work, but it keeps people bonded in bondage in a negative. So now people want more law and order. And guess what? Now the human population, especially the males in the population, will energize this new policy by cooperating with it. And when the policy becomes popular, people begin to see it as normal. It becomes a norm. And now, indeed, it works out. You get more prisons, you get more militias on the streets, or police officers, however you want to call them. This video is not against cops, anything like that. I'm just telling you as it is. And now, the whole system is running. But what's happening now? There's a pattern of violence now, which is a pattern of fear. The people are stuck in it, but they can't see it. But it does affect their health. That means their mental health, emotional health, physical health. It affects their relationships, it affects their marriages, it affects their economy. And now people want to get rid of all those bad fruits. But then those same pagan rulers now come with solutions that will only give temporary relief. And that's how you keep people stuck in a pattern of violence. And here's the thing. Often people begin to enact these patterns of violence on their fellow human beings because that's all they know. People want respect, they want validation so much, but they don't even ask why they want all that validation, they just want it. Now, you are not responsible for growing up under this pagan rule that's going on in the world, which is the world, but you are responsible for seeking help and seeking deliverance. So don't comply with the patterns of violence around you. I mean, just see through them. See through them. And how do you erase them from you? You agree with Christ, and you keep repeating that unto yourself, repeating and agreeing with Christ's promises and how Christ sees you. And that's how you erase those patterns of violence from you. There will be violence working out around you, but to cast out violence, you need to work out violence out of you. And you do that in line with Christ. That's how you cast out violence, because once you once you erase the patterns of violence, the spirit of violence has no grip on you anymore. Because the spirit of violence needs those patterns of violence in order to work violence in the human community. So, I just explained to you how to see through and erase patterns of violence. I expect you to do this. Not from me, but because Christ is Lord. And those patterns of violence are there to keep you in a negative and to drag you all the way to the lake of fire. To destroy you, that's why they're there. There's no security in it. So forget about that. Well, that's it for now. Agree with Christ and be at peace.